Hey guys, so I'm here with my reading wrap up for November. Can you believe we're in December? Vlogmas has officially started. As I'm recording this video to go up today, I'm also uploading yesterday's first Vlogmas video. It's like Vlogception. But yeah, so I can't believe that we're in December, almost at the end of the year. It's craziness. I didn't read an awful lot in November. I read 5 books. At one point I didn't think I was going to get the last book finished. I thought I was going to finish it literally on December 1st, but fortunately I managed to finish it in time. Thank goodness. I would have been so disappointed because I was quite near the end, and if I didn't finish it I would have just been a little bit irritated, but no, I managed to. So first of all, the first thing, well, I read the first 3 books in a series in November. I read the Ravenels series by Lisa Kleypas. There's only 3 books out so far. The next book comes out very early next year. And I read them on my Kindle, but I loved them so much I actually bought the physical copy, so I will show you. So the first book was Cold-Hearted Rake. When I first downloaded this one, I thought that it was like a Regency romance, but it's not quite. It's more like set in the Victorian period, but if you enjoy Regency type books, you should also really enjoy this. Absolutely loved it. I just was devouring it. Really struggled to put it down, and I found that with all 3 of these books. So this is the first book, and it's about a woman called Kathleen, and she's only been married, I think, it's not very long. I think it's a couple of days, and her husband is thrown from his horse. So a sort of distant relative comes to inherit the title, and his name's Devon, and he really doesn't want the responsibility. You know, the peerage is dying, they're all in debt, and he doesn't want to take on this huge responsibility, so he plans to just sell it. But then he meets Kathleen, and the two of them kind of clash. They have this great chemistry, and it goes from there, and it's really good. If you enjoy historical romance, I highly recommend picking this up. I was quite surprised actually, because this series on Goodreads, quite a few people that also read historical romance that I see, you know, on Goodreads and stuff, weren't such a big fan of this series, but I have to say it's hands down one of my favourites. The second book, Marian Winterbourne, is my favourite out of the 3 in this series. Absolutely love it. You actually meet the 2 protagonists in this in the first book, Cold-Hearted Rake. So you have Helen, and she's very sweet. She's a really nice lady actually, and she's always just kind of gone with the flow. She doesn't really force her will on people. But in the previous book, Kathleen ends Helen's engagement for her, and Helen actually doesn't want her engagement ended, and she's engaged to a man called Reese, and he's actually sort of born lower class than Helen. Helen's a lady, and he's like a self-made man. He has this huge department store, has tons of money, but will never be accepted into some circles because he's not, you know, part of the peerage. So he plans to marry Helen to gain access to all of that, but then actually the two of them kind of do actually fall in love, and it's really nice. I love this story. This story for me was very unique in the way that it starts, because obviously you meet them in the previous book, so when they're in this one you're not meeting them for the first time. I feel like their story gets off to a much different start, and I absolutely loved it. I did give Cold-Hearted Rake 5 out of 5, I think, but this one hands down got 5 out of 5. This would be like 6 out of 5. And then the third book is called Evelyns Spring. This one I was worried I wouldn't enjoy it as much, because the female protagonist in this is called Pandora, and she is one of a twin, and we meet the twins obviously in both of these books, but she comes across as quite childish, and I still think in this book she can come off as a little bit immature, so a bit of the scenes and stuff can be a bit jarring because she just seems so childish. But this one is kind of funny in that she gets herself compromised because she's trying to do someone a favour. Someone's had, you know, sort of an illicit tryst with someone and has lost their earring. So she goes to find this earring, and she actually gets herself stuck in a settee, and this guy comes to help her out, but they get discovered, and it looks like they're doing something dodgy when they're not. So he is on a bound to offer her marriage, which she's dead set. She's not getting married. She wants to be an entrepreneur. She's designed a board game that she wants to get published. She doesn't want to get married. And at first, Gabriel, the man, he begrudges being in this situation, but actually he comes to really want Pandora, and he really wants to convince her to marry him, and I really came to enjoy it. Probably not as much as the second one. The second one was my favourite, but I did come to really enjoy that. And then after reading them, because the fourth book is not yet available, I was still very much on Elisa Claypur's kick. I could be reading just her at the moment. That's how obsessed I am with her. So I decided to pick up Secrets of a Summer Night. This is another one I originally read on my Kindle, but have since purchased the paperback. This is the first book in her Wallflowers series, and I didn't enjoy it as much as the Ravenels, but I did come to really enjoy this one. It's about a young woman called Annabelle, and her family's hit hard times. You know, they've had to trade in all their jewels for fake jewels. They're down to like 2 servants, a footman and a cook, I think, and they're really struggling, and their only hope is for Annabelle to marry, and she's determined to marry. She doesn't care who it is at this point. She wants to help her family. She comes across as very grasping sometimes, but you can see that actually it's desperation, not just for herself, but she's very at the forefront of her mind is her mum and her younger brother, and how, you know, her brother needs to stay in school. Like, it's not just her thoughts, you know, it's for herself, it is for her family. She's desperate to marry and save them as well. But she's a wallflower. Because she doesn't have a dowry, no man really asks her to dance, and she meets 3 other wallflowers, and they decide to join, like, make their own little group and help each other get married. So she's the first one that they decide to get married off, and they decide to go to this house party, really, and try and land her a lord. But during that time, there's a man there called Simon Hunt, and they've met before, and she thinks she can't stand him. But actually, the more time they spend together, she realises that she doesn't hate him. But he's very wealthy, but he's not a peer. And it's like, did she want a peer all along or not? It was really good. I love the friendship between the 3 wallflowers, and the 4 wallflowers. And I'm really looking forward to reading the other books in this series. And then the last book that I read was You Do Something to Me by Bella Andre. And this, I think, is book 17 in the Sullivan series and book 3 in the New York Sullivan series. As you guys know, I love the Sullivan series. It's one of my favourites. They're really cute and sweet adult contemporary novels. You always know what you're going to get with the Bella Andre. You're going to get a happily ever after, a really cute romance. This one, I would say, wasn't my favourite. Part of me just still really loves the original, I think, like, first 8 or so Sullivan novels, but that doesn't mean I dislike them. They're just the newer ones just aren't my favourites from the series, but this one was really cute. So you have Alex Sullivan, who's an absolute billionaire. He has a conglomerate, like, aviation business. He's completely against love, really, because his parents have really messed him up. His father was a world-renowned artist, and his muse was his mother, who couldn't really take it, and she killed herself, and he blames his father for that. So he's sort of convinced himself never to be in a relationship, to repeat his parents' mistakes. But then his business partner ups and dies on him, and he finds out that his business partner had a secret daughter that he knew absolutely nothing about. Alec didn't know anything about, and he's left her basically half the business. So in comes Cordelia, who's very not simple, but she enjoys simple things. Her adoptive parents are teachers, and she runs her own garden centre. So they're complete opposites, but then actually there's an attraction between them, and they decide to just be friends, and then they decide to be friends with benefits, and then obviously it becomes more than that. But it is super cute. Very quick read, and definitely what I was after at the time. So yeah, that's everything that I read in November, guys. I would probably give You Do Something to Me by Bella Andre about 4 out of 5 before I forget. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Happy reading.